Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. And today Rose and I want to show you how we travelled to Europe without a van conversion, not even a water pump, just some basic essentials. 8 days, 8 countries, 1800 miles, and yet somehow this setup worked. But one thing nearly turned it all into a disaster, but I'll tell you about that a little bit later.
It's as basic as it gets, but it got us across Europe. Let's show you around.
This fan was a bit of a rush job. In fact, I only got it watertight just before we left, but it turned out to be one of the things, one of the best things that we included.
And because it has a remote, it's brilliant. Because at night, when you're too hot, you can just click it on from bed. Or when you're cooking, switch it to extractor mode. Small thing, but it made the van so much more comfortable.
Now the fan ran off this Bluetti power station. We'll come to this in a minute, but in fact, everything ran off of this power station. Whether it was a fan, whether it was our fridge, whether it was charging our camera equipment, everything ran off this Bluetti power station. What would you guys have powered off your power station if you had to choose? Would it have been something like the fan? Would it be a fridge? Would it be your gadgets? I'd love to know. What would you guys choose?
This sink setup was pretty rushed too. It drains into a bottle underneath. There's no water tank, no pump. Every time we needed water, we had to pour it from a big bottle. Imagine.
It wasn't ideal. In fact, the one thing we've both agreed on since we went on the European trip was actually having the water pump would have made life much easier. So guess what's next on the list? Now this surface also doubled as our kitchen area. So we have a double ring gas hob that we cooked all of our meals on, and we even bought ourselves, while on the trip, a nice air fryer. But unfortunately what we didn't think of at the time was, of course, it would have a European plug on it. And could we find an adapter for a European to UK plug socket? No. So yes, it sat in the van unused the whole trip. We will be fixing that for next time.
So this plug-in freezer was a last-minute purchase, literally the day we left for Europe. And honestly, it saved the trip. Cold drinks, fresh food. It made shopping and meals much easier. Without it, things would have been a lot tougher.
Now the only downside to the fridge was it drew a lot more power than we were expecting. So that's something that we need to fix before our next trip. Question: do any of you guys run powered fridges yourselves, or maybe cool boxes? If you run powered fridges, have you got any tips for saving power? Because we'd love to know. Any advice? Message in the comments please, guys. Thank you.
So this little chemical toilet isn't glamorous, but it was a lifesaver when you were nowhere near any facilities, I can tell you.
Now Rose and I have been debating when we do the full conversion whether we stick to chemical or whether we go to composting toilet. Now chemical toilets, they're smaller, they're cheaper, and they're easier to empty. Now composting lasts longer, smells less, and it's eco-friendlier, but it's much bulkier and more expensive. So what would you guys do? Do you guys even have a toilet, or do you not have a toilet? If you do you go with a chemical toilet? If so, do you have a storage tank under the van? Or do you just have one that you roll out and empty? Or do you go the full composting toilet? Again, I'd love to know. Any thoughts, any ideas, please message in the comments. We really would love to know. We need some help on this, guys. Thank you. At the back here, we knocked together a simple platform for the bed. We've just stuck an inflatable mattress on top.
I know it sounds uncomfortable, but to be fair, it surprised us. It was way comfier than what we expected.
And underneath, excuse the mess, we are in the middle of arranging for trips at the moment, but underneath we actually had lots of room for storage. Any that's watched before, you'll know originally we had the bed 1 meter high to try and give us lots more storage space. We reduced it down to only 1/2 meter because the bed was way too high, and we were worried about how much storage space we'd have. But as you can see, this obviously goes all the way back for the double width of the bed, lots of storage space. We had multiple containers to keep our stuff organised and separated and stop it shifting around. It really, really did work out really well.
Now the real game changer wasn't the bed, wasn't the sink, wasn't the cooker, it was this Bluetti charger. It was a real game changer. It charged our cameras, our phones, the fan, every bit of power that we needed, and gave us the real off-grid freedom.
And the best part was, thanks to this Bluetti Charger 1, we actually wired up the Bluetti power station to run directly from the alternator, giving us complete freedom on the road. We didn't need to worry about solar, we didn't need to worry about campsites and plugging in and parking up. In fact, we were really amazed at how well this charged up. It pushed 500 watts through into the power station while we're driving down the road. Honestly, it charged up the power station just as quick as if we'd had it plugged in at home. It really was a freedom-giving game changer. So this meant obviously that every mile we drove, it kept on topping up so we could just keep driving. In a road trip like ours, where we were doing 8 countries in 8 days, over 1,800 miles, having power and having the time to power up was really essential. Honestly, I can't tell you how much freedom it felt like it gave us, having we had unlimited power on a trip where we were just driving. It was excellent. But as I said at the start, there was nearly one move that was disastrous, and it was my move, unfortunately, that nearly brought the trip to a standstill. It's really important that when you install a Charger 1, if you get a Charger 1 to run off of your power station, that you configure it first on the app. So, as I said, it's really important. Don't make the mistake I did. Make sure you install the Bluetti app. And when you've got your Charger 1 installed and you've got it powered up, a light will come on the Charger 1 just to show that it's powered up. It will then show as My Devices under your Bluetooth devices. Make sure you select My Devices, you click on the Charger 1, and it will give you a list of power stations or devices that it can run with. And make sure that you configure it so that it's set up for your power station. Now, fortunately, the default meant it was sending less power to the power station than it would have needed to. It was only sending like 125 watts or something. If it had overpowered the power station, it probably would have been game over and we'd have fired the power station. So we got lucky this time through my mistake and not following the instructions properly. So yeah, big tip of advice from us is if you get a power station and you charge it from the alternator, make sure it's configured properly so the right power wattage is going through to your station. Thanks for watching this episode of our Van Before the Build episode. It wasn't the best setup, but it was the start of something amazing. Next up, we'll be turning this van into our rolling home and getting out on some really big adventures. Make sure you're subscribed, you won't want to miss what's coming up. Thanks again for watching, guys, and as always, have a beautiful day.